Recipes often mention different kinds of flour such as cake flour, bread flour, self-rising flour, pastry flour, etc. And using the right kind of flour is really important for the best texture of baked goods. So in this video today, we are going to be taking a look at the different kinds of flour used in baking and the substitutes you could try. Different kinds of flour contain varying amounts of protein, so it's imperative that you use the kind of flour specified in the recipe, or you may not be very happy with the results. If flour of well-known and reputed brands is available to you, please do go ahead and try them, as they promise the best results. And these often also have the protein content, the percentage of the protein listed on the label as well. It's always best to weigh flour for baking, but then if you would have to measure your flour, please do watch this video on how to measure flour correctly. When recipes mention plain flour, or all-purpose flour, I use what we commonly call as maida here in India. And again, you will see bleached and unbleached all-purpose flour in various recipes. And this is flour which has been processed to varying degrees and also contain varying amounts of protein. Both of them can be used interchangeably, and they are both supposed to produce good but slightly different results. But since this is not so commonly available here, you could just go ahead and use maida or plain flour for these recipes. And then we have this thing called as self-rising flour, which is flour mixed with some amount of baking powder and salt. You do find this here at the stores quite commonly, but I prefer to make my own, because if the flour is not stored properly or packed properly, then it may not work really well. And making self-rising flour at home is just a matter of mixing together some all-purpose flour or maida with some bit of baking powder and some salt to make your own self-rising flour. And you could make it just when you need it. And then there is cake flour. This gives your cakes and bakes a tender and a delicate texture. And commercially made cake flour is highly recommended for best results. I haven't tried the locally available cake flour, and I've always made my own at home, and it has always worked well for me. And here is how you make your own cake flour. And then we have bread flour, which is high in protein content, and the high protein content in this flour helps the bread to rise higher, and it also gives it a proper shape. And the homemade version of bread flour is maida mixed with some vital wheat gluten, and this is an ingredient you could buy at the stores, or you could also buy it online. To make your own bread flour at home, you could add 1 tablespoon of vital wheat gluten to 130 grams of all-purpose flour or maida. And then we have pastry flour, which is low in protein content and is similar to cake flour but not the same, I gather. Your bakes will be more delicate and you will get much better pie crust. And then there is also a whole wheat version of the pastry flour. Please do check it out. And then you could also make your own pastry flour at home, and here is how you do it. And then we have this all familiar wheat flour, which we commonly use in most of our homes every day. And it's a very healthy choice, no doubt, but may not be best suited in all sorts of baking. And bakes made with plain flour or maida are always more tender and better in texture as compared to those made with all whole wheat. And you could always try substituting part of the plain flour in a recipe with some amount of whole wheat flour, but then it may make your cake or your bread a little dense. But then there are always exceptions. There are some very good recipes which are made with all whole wheat and they do come out really well. And we shall come to that soon, and we shall be trying some whole wheat bakes too. And then there is white whole wheat flour, which is not again commonly available in India. And this apparently has the same nutritional value as whole wheat flour, but without the darker color and the assertive flavor of wheat. So if this is available to you, please do absolutely check this out. And please do note that when recipes specify sifted cake flour or sifted all-purpose flour, only the weight of the flour differs. And for easy reference, please do print this chart out. So this should be good enough for you to get started. Please do explore lots more varieties available out there and have fun.